with X-Wing. And there are some future promotions coming up with an IBM launch. We did a Nintendo Shadows of the Empire launch at the Powerhouse Museum recently, and probably a 2-week pantomime shopping centre Star Wars stage show, which may end up going touring around the country. So it's something that we're very excited about, and as a result we've had to put people on payroll. It's been a very steep learning curve for us. And without further ado, we'll introduce the X-Wing tour boys that will tell you about their adventures.
Thank you very much, Shane. Okay, hi, how are you all doing? My name's Justin. This is Chris, this is Steve. Two of the other guys that came on the tour with us aren't here today. That's Adam, and we had basically the voice of the tour. Her name was Marnie Franklin. She basically did the lead up and sort of warmed up the audience and all that sort of stuff. Basically, yeah, we're just sort of Star Wars fans have been sort of roped into this, but it's great. It's actually been really good. We've pretty much, as Shane said, been doing this for a little while, just mainly as a non-profit sort of exercise. We've been doing product launches for Nintendo. We've been product launches for Nintendo. We've done appearances at toy fairs, basically dressing up in the costumes, either whether they be Boba Fett, Stormtroopers, all that sort of stuff, depending on who the client actually wants. And this one sort of is what we were asked to do was it started off being a 6-week tour, a promotional tour to advertise the new special edition, and it pretty much was going to be a little bit of a first, especially for us. As far as we know, we don't know where. It's the first time in Australia. I'm not sure if it's been done in America. I'm sure it has, but it's actually best way to put it is photo sessions and meet and greet is pretty much what Lucasfilm allow all the costumes to do. They pretty much walk in the centre, have their photos taken, shake into the hands, all that sort of stuff. That's pretty much it. But what they allowed us to do is to do kind of like a little live action sequence from Star Wars. So it was pretty unique in the fact that we were authorised, actually allowed to do it. It was sort of thrown in our lap, literally, when we were about 3 days off onto the tour. We were going to head on doing our Melbourne leg first, and the guy at Media Enterprises who was organising it pretty much rang us up and said, "How's the show going?" We said, "Oh yeah, we're all organised. We've got the suits, we've got the talent. Yeah, the guys are ready. We're all pumped. It's going to be great. And we've got some music sort of picked out for you." I said, "No, the show. How's the show going?" We said, "Yeah, we're pumped. We're ready." He goes, "So you worked out a story?" "What story?" I said, "No, we want you to write it." He said, "What? We can't. We're going to write it." We said, "We were just going to basically hand us a script. We were going to follow it, or clarify any little details that sort of weren't within the Star Wars universe mythology." I said, "No, we want you guys to write it." So myself and Shane Morrissey got together frantically. He was pulling his hair out, and basically we had to quickly, very much write up like a little script, or we only had to come up with a 4-minute sort of show, but restrictions. A 4-minute show can be actually quite daunting when you can't say a word, mainly because at the time we weren't authorised to use any of the characters' voices, so we were stuck on that point. So we couldn't even have backup tape for miming for Darth Vader and that sort of thing. And so we had to sort of get across a little show with, I guess you'd say pantomime, but considering none of us are really actors anyway, it actually worked out quite well. Very nerve-wracking to begin with, because the very first day was an actual dress rehearsal in front of an audience. Very nerve-wracking. But yeah, it seemed to work really well. We came up with a nice little story. As I said, Marnie, the voice of the tour, she pretty much set the mood. She said to the audience that that this rebel was on a mission to recruit new members for the Alliance, and he'd stolen an Imperial shipment of giveaways bound for the Emperor's private collection. And basically that he's to give it to the most enthusiastic in joining the fight against the evil Galactic Empire, restoring freedom to the galaxy. That's pretty much actually how this video went.
You did that very well.
But she said it was a bit more gusto. And then she says that she puts her hands in her ears. I made her a little mic thing, and she was saying that she just had a transmission. The Empire's just landed, and they're heading to this sector, all that sort of stuff. And she says, "Any of you see this rebel? Shout out, tell them he's got to get our way, get this mission underway wherever we were." We toured pretty much all over the place. And then then pretty much the show would start. We've actually got tape, which we'll show at the end of this thing, that sort of shows our pretty much what we did, it's sort of not, it's a little bit dark because it actually was a night show. It was at Pacific Fair, which was the most exciting night. The show really had to be shown at night. It had smoke and lighting and strobe effects. It wasn't as effective during the day, but the music was loud enough, the audience was pumped enough, so it did work, and the kids were excited, and that's what it was for. It had to be G-rated as well. And yeah, that's pretty much clogging the line like these guys.
Well, basically, it was just a Star Wars fan's dream. We just got to dress up in perfect costumes and get paid to travel around Australia and pretend to be out of the movie. That was basically it.
Yeah, these costumes, by the way, they were actually from Industrial Light and Magic, or from the ranch. So they weren't used in the film, but they're as used in the film. They'd been made for a 12-month tour of the widescreen widescreen edition on video that was released. And when they came to us, they were in very
sweaty condition.
Yeah.
A lot of people hadn't washed them, so we had to wash them 2 or 3 times just to get the sweat stains and smells out of them.
Yeah. Well, even Darth Vader's suit was all mouldy, and then they just wrapped it up in plastic bags. It was quite disgusting.
I think it's still got a fungus growing on the gloves, I think.
Yeah, it's still a little bit mouldy, but not quite as mouldy as the guy inside it.
You can guess who Chris played.
Yeah, guess who I was?
He was a stormtrooper. I was Darth Vader. But yeah, and then pretty much we pretty much travelled. We did a Melbourne League tour first, which was a little disappointing, I have to admit. The crowds weren't really there. But
It wasn't advertised as good as the Queensland shows.
Definitely wasn't advertised properly. That was not our responsibility. So ours was the show itself. But then we moved on to Queensland, or Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast, and Sydney and Canberra, which those shows were actually very good. Pretty much the most exciting would have had to be the premiere night, which was a Wednesday night. Yeah, the Wednesday night at Pacific Fair, and that's a new cinema that's
big cinema.
Very big cinema, 12 screens. It's just on the video, and it's pretty much. There was a VIP party. They were playing Star Wars on the premiere night on all 12 screens, which completely filled up. And then they had 12 o'clock screenings on that Wednesday night. They actually then, I think, had 1,500 people show up, so it was about half full. But it was also very exciting. It was really probably the best night to do it because everybody was pumped. Everybody was, everybody.
And also, after we did our show, we got invited to the VIP screenings and after party with food and drink and everything else.
Makes it very exciting as well. As we were saying, so sort of a bit of a dream come true, and I'll let you.
Oh, you do quite well. You do quite well. I'm just a strong silent type, remember.
It was a lot of fun, but we had a every morning we had to put on our bodysuits and our plastic suits in 35-degree heat and change in an area that was no bigger than a toilet. 4 people trying to strap on crosswords.
The dressing room was a horse float, a reconditioned horse float. I mean, it was painted up nicely. Nice little shelves inside.
Left in car parks out in the sun.
Yes, in the sun, baking down on it. So if it was 30 degrees outside, it was 40 degrees inside. And then, as you can imagine, actually wearing, some of you have probably tried these sort of suits on before, you can be in a cold room and put them on and you start to sweat, basically. So, the thing is, it wasn't really how comfortable or uncomfortable the suits were. It was how quickly you got used to the pain.
We got used to wearing them after a while.
Yeah,
drinking about 3 litres of water just before you go on.
As these guys were saying, it was pretty much a dream come true. I mean, we're actually trying to, through these shows and these tours that we're doing with several people with media enterprises and so forth, we're trying to establish a relationship to do a lot more of these type of events and shows. I mean, this is the year to do it, obviously. We've got the special editions and showing. We've also going to have a video released near the end of the year. And also we've got one that's sort of in the works. I won't mention too much about it, but it's quite an exciting little venture. You all get to see it if it all goes ahead. It's going to be a Melbourne-based show. 2 weeks in July, possibly 2 weeks in September. This sounds like it's around about some kids' holidays. And it's basically putting together a much more theatrical type of show. Half-hour show, like remember ours was only like 4 minutes really. Half-hour shows with possibly anywhere up to 20 to 25 characters. And it's pretty much going to have musical numbers in it. I don't mean stormtroopers doing the can-can or anything. Like maybe something with Ewoks, something with Cantina Band, something with the Dancing Girls with Jabba's Palace, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's going to be really quite an exciting one. It looks sort of promising. We just authorization has to be given for it. But anybody who's got really good costumes, let Shane, Mr. Morrissey know, and we'll get you on our books definitely. Because that's one of the things we're always trying to look out for. People who have really good costumes, they do have to be up to a certain standard, basically because we're trying to represent the characters in the best possible light or best possible way. And a lot of, actually, we could tell you a lot of funny stories that happened.
Please do.
But it probably wouldn't be as funny to you as it was to us there. We did laugh every single day. It was absolutely hilarious.
Justin just doesn't want us to mention his faux pas on stage, where he walked out and asked the question of the audience, who plays Harrison Ford?
Yeah, there's a few of those that I think, you get a little, yes.
And what about Darth Vader Deke rubbing everybody?
No, that was the right, I'll tell this one.
No, we'll throw to Steve for the Decker Rush story.
Right, you can tell this story.
Well, it's only, I copped the brunt of it basically. Walking off stage, someone had left a tube of Denker rub inside the change room.
Don't look at me.
Darth Vader stood on it as I was walking up the stairs, and I got covered in Denker rub all over my codpiece area. All over my stage.
You can basically imagine a stormtrooper walking back to the change room. Change room's like, right, this guy's at the front.
And
a big white blob just comes splashing out of him. It was very funny. We had to go on to the little second act of the actual show. But,
I didn't look that scary afterwards.
No, these guys in the change rooms, they just had to get their helmets off, they're laughing their heads off.
And dying of the fumes.
Tinker on it.
And I believe Darth Vader's a dirty old man with some women.
Well, I'll explain. So as you can all imagine, it's fairly hard to see when you've got a helmet on, and my vision was limited to like above my nose level, and that was it. And we had people coming up on stage to take photos, and there's one woman came up on stage, and she was standing next to me, and I sort of thought, I'll get her, I'll put my hand around and strangle her. Unfortunately, she was a little bit taller than I thought she was.
And the top was a little bit more open than
Well, basically, you get the idea.
You went the group.
I went to grab, yeah. But at the same token, this woman, while standing there getting her photo taken with Vader, dropped her hand down and grabbed one of the stormtroopers on the codpiece.
He didn't, that's the thing, you can't.
We didn't know that.
Yeah,
You would have done something better, otherwise, I suppose.
It was in a stormtrooper smile.
Anyone have any questions? No, I might be able to. No, any questions? Anybody?
Relate
Yeah.
the story when you were at Liverpool where you saw people robbing.
Oh,
yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
The western suburbs of Sydney.
It's unfortunate, we really wanted to. We were saying we'd do it from now. We went to a place, Liverpool in Sydney, and it was a shopping centre there. We were doing our shows. I'm not sure if you know the area, but apparently it's a little bit
Dodgy.
dodgy. Would be the best description. A few little sort of gangs, that sort of stuff. But we're doing the shows, and I actually didn't see a lot of this stuff. But
While we're handing out prizes for questions and stuff like that, some little kids pushed some other kid over and stole his poster, and then the following day another little kid, while we're doing the show, we're standing up on stage in our costumes, he walked behind a woman with her pram and just reached in and grabbed the purse.
yeah, I just think he should jump off the stage and just.
It's damn hard to run after someone with a stormtrooper costume on, basically.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, and then pretty much, I mean, it's.
Canberra.
Oh yeah, the most surprising part of the tour was like we did the last couple of days at Sega World in Sydney, and we were thinking Sega World, big opening, it was the Easter weekend, there was going to be thousands of people there, and it was cool to have audiences for every time. And then we had to go to Canberra, and we were sort of thinking, oh yeah, Canberra, here we go, this is going to be exciting. So we're in the change room, and Marnie sort of stuck her head back in the door and said, oh, there's a decent crowd out here, guys, and then she off we went with it, oh yeah, 30, 40 people, that'd be about it. You imagine our surprise, we jumped out of the change room, there would have been close on 1,000 people standing there, and they just went up the bank behind, spilled out onto the road, they were hanging from the rafters of the car park behind us, they were absolutely everywhere. And it was almost every show in Canberra was absolutely jam-packed with people. The most surprising thing was there was 4 and 3-year-old kids in the audience who knew answers to questions that we didn't even know when we started the tour. Scary stuff.
And it's actually surprising, you can really tell with these no Star Wars fans of some of these areas, because we had these series of questions. We had like, let's go with an easy sheet, a moderate sheet, and a really, really hard sheet. So we'd always sort of start with the hard ones, and then we'd go, we were at one area, I can't remember where it was, Sydney I think it was, and we were looking, we read the hard sheet question, and blank.
That was Liverpool.
Whatever, so I said, let's jump. And they were completely blank, so we said, let's jump straight to the easy questions. So we jumped straight to the easy questions. No, not a thing. Completely blank.
So we went to the really easy questions. Spell Star Wars.
It's the same people who were asking us what it said on the scratchy if they'd won it.
Yeah, we go to that. Like we've had thousands upon thousands of Star Wars scratchies to give away, which actually I have still quite a reasonable box full over here.
What is
So straight after this, don't rush all at once, but yeah, I've got basically going to give these out today. There are instant wing, X-wing fighters in there.
Definitely.
But yeah, we can pretty much tell you what almost every one of those says anyway. They almost all say the same thing.
Yeah, you said my mind trick.
Don't scratch a few of them, keep them as a little souvenir and that sort of thing. They're really nicely printed and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, what else?
Most asked questions.
Yes. Oh yeah, little kids getting scared. We've actually-
Petrified. Absolutely petrified.
Now there was this one little girl, actually, Darth standing there. Now he really couldn't. Everyone thought he was just really arrogant. It's just that in fact he couldn't see. You know, little kids come up to
Trouble with the
shake.
fact I am arrogant.
But the little kids that come up to shake his hand, you know, and they're like down here, probably down here. He's just sort of there, just kicking them off stage. And then he's
Oh, what was
so
that?
he sort of yeah, we're going to hey, hello. There's this little kid down there, he's sort of, oh, right, yeah. And then kick him off stage. Yeah, no, they were. We had this one little girl, a really small little girl, pretty much come up on stage and like almost like it was a ball or something. She was just creeping towards Darth Vader. He's got a fan letter. He's got a fan letter to Mr. It says on the front. Does it say on the front?
Says on the front, to Darth Vader.
Oh, was it Mr.?
No, it doesn't say Mr. It just says to Darth Vader.
Yeah, a couple of drawings or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Read
Right.
that.
Plus they're
It's only
non-scientific.
drawings, it's right. And Polaroid or something.
I don't think you do that with vegetables.
Yes, but no, we had lots of little kids basically were really keen to see all the characters. I mean, as far as I can remember seeing it when I was about 7 or 8. I remember when Star Wars came out. There was a Darth Vader appearing at Maya Brash's, and I thought it was the real thing. Now thinking about it, actually looking at the photo, it's so dodgy. But it's still, I mean, they don't know the difference. And these costumes, really were quite intimidating, especially with Vader, because it actually has. It breathed. It actually had the actual sound effect, and it breathed as he walked, which was really quite loud, which was quite good. You know, he had the lights on the belt. And
Until the last day.
until the very last day, he stopped breathing. He actually had an asthma attack. It just stopped. The last day, the thing just stopped. So the electron problem could fix.
It was surprising as you think that children, little kids, are going to be the ones that are going to be really scared. There was a Japanese tourist who came up on stage, and he walked on stage. He was looking out there at the camera who was going to take his photo the whole time. Wasn't looking back at us. Stood in front of us, I got his photo taken. Then he turned around and went to look at me, and he went, ah! And he was off the stage. He was gone. He wasn't even around.
Yeah, they were very, very good scenes. Actually, the other surprising thing was, if anybody, I'm not sure, did anybody actually catch any of the Melbourne shows at all? Yeah. Now, the thing is, as I said, Melbourne attendance wasn't crash hard.
There was at least 10 people there, I think.
No, there was.
I recognise him.
We did have actually a couple of good ones. There were Chester, actually, we did have quite a good crowd the very last day and those sort of things. Unfortunately, really good if you all got to see it. It wasn't advertised as well as it probably could have been. Otherwise, the photo opportunities were fantastic with the X-Wing. The X-Wing we were travelling around with. Most of you probably saw it when it was last year, or maybe you didn't. It was a 1/3, I think it was.
Three-quarter size.
Was it?
Three-quarter size.
Three-quarter size replica of the X-Wing. Pretty much, it looked pretty fantastic actually. It was, and the actual suits, as I said, they were from the ranch, taken from the original mould. And when you see them, actually, when you see them there, they don't, you sort of think, they look that crash hot. The thing is, when you actually see photos of them and actually see them on video, that's when you just go, wow, they really do look good. And we actually compared them with photos from the archives, and they are absolutely spot on. Like, when we were, I have to admit, I think it was both Adam and Steve, they were the stormtroopers, when they were on stage, and pretty much by the end of the tour, or even halfway through the tour, their suits, well, we were starting to say that our tour was sponsored by Gaffer, because they were just held together with Gaffer tape absolutely everywhere. Gaffer tape and white glue all over them. And really, we noticed it like crazy, but when you get on stage and you're watching the production, and everyone just thought that the presentation and the suits were actually in immaculate condition, so they came up really, really well.
There's only one time which really sort of gave it away, and that's when Darth Vader's shoulder fell off.
A few sort of things like that. As I said, it is a G-rated sort of show. Unfortunately, we would have liked to have, it was handed to us very quickly. We had to put the story together real quickly. We had to get the actual concept together really quickly. We would have loved to have had pyrotechnics for little explosions, little laser light machines or something, but unfortunately we had to have a mini sort of battle in this thing. It did feel a little bit silly sort of using a weapon with nothing coming out of it, but that's why I've only included the night show. It's a little bit more effective with strobe lights. The day shows look pretty funny, but we sort of concealed ourselves in a big lot of smoke and smoke machine. it worked quite well. And all the kids got really, really hyped up. As I said, when I saw it when I was a little kid, and saw this Darth Vader of mine, it was the best thing. I thought it was him. I thought it was Darth Vader, but I can imagine what the little kids coming up with this guy would have thought. Yeah, he was towering, whatever, feet above them, breathing, and I mean, most of the, I have to admit, we had some absolutely horrible little children that would not even. They would go, I want to see Darth Vader. I want to see Darth Vader. As soon as they get off stage, I don't want to see Darth Vader. That was great. Yep.
Share your nicknames.
We sort of started making up nicknames on the tour. I don't know. It's not really that.
I'm lucky, I missed out.
You didn't get one, did you?
No. I weren't going.
Because we actually did some. We'll be doing a little sort of coverage of the tour because we've got some press clippings and so forth. We were on the front. We made front pages of some of the papers. It was really exciting because we went and did a photo shoot out in Coolangatta Airport. It wasn't just the show we just did that we were doing. We're doing. This will be shown in the video. We did interviews and press sort of engagements for Today Tonight in Melbourne tonight. That was a little actual skit that they wanted to do with, what's his name? In Melbourne tonight? Frankie J. Holden and stuff. And we also did some things at Coolangatta Airport with some of the news prime network shows up there on Channel 7. They just wanted to get us out of the airport. They had the X-Wing out there and they just wanted to do.
You can imagine how hot it was on the tarmac.
Yeah, tarmac.
Coolangatta Airport in a plastic suit.
But we pretty much, it wasn't just the tour. We just were like, I have to admit, it was very, very easy. I mean, as much as we were complaining that just a sting off, should be getting paid. But it was fun thinking that we were just going to put on the suits, walk out on the tarmac, and that was it.
That was a short day. We had fantastic apartments with pools and.
We were sort of making all jealous too much.
And your nicknames were?
Well, Stephen had been recon because every time we got to a new hotel, he'd disappear for about an hour, and then we just sat in the hotel waiting for him to tell us get back.
I had to find out where
tell us where all the restaurants were and all this and that. He was quite recon because he just did reconnaissance everywhere we went. As soon as we got
we were living on a budget, we had to know exactly where McDonald's was.
But also the shopping centres as well, they disappeared as soon as we got to them because he'd check out where all the new stores are and come back with handfuls of Kentucky Fried Chicken stuff.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut cups.
I had an extra suitcase to put all that Pizza Hut crap in there.
One of the funniest sights was Brisbane Airport watching these two try and get on board the plane carrying their KFC buckets.
There's no food in there, honest.
Actually, I prefer holidays.
As I said, we were doing a pressing engagement at Coolangatta Airport, where we just were on the tarmac and so forth. This is all we were told. We were going to get photographed out on the tarmac with the X-Wing, and we thought it was a bit suspect. We thought someone might be arriving at the airport. We thought,
We were hopeful.
Could be somebody, could be. And we heard Mark Hamill was in the country, or this, or no, he wasn't. Oh, he was in the country, wasn't he? Yeah. But so we weren't sure. So it's all exciting, but it sort of let us down. But anyway, we're on the tarmac. I sort of actually was bailed up by the news reporters and the.
Because you were the only one that could speak.
Yeah, well, I was the only one that could speak. They didn't, said they kept on asking me, "Can Darth Vader speak?" And I said no. So basically, I just wasn't allowed. Too arrogant to speak. And but so I was usually the one that they bail up and get in front of the camera or put into the newspapers. And unfortunately, we didn't come up with a name for me because they actually started calling me by my real name, Rebel Pilot Justin Dix. It just doesn't work, does it? Rebel Pilot Justin Dix. So we actually came up with a name, but unfortunately nobody ever wanted to know it again for press engagements or anything. It actually...
And that name was?
Well, we came up with Constant Wedge. That's about the best we can come up with. We just said C Wedge.
We extended that out later on to PC Wedge, which was painful constant wedge.
As I said, it wasn't actually my rebel suit. It was started to become, especially after the third week, it started becoming a little bit too tight up there. It started needing maybe a little bit too well. But we've got a wind up yet? No? Alright, we've got a video. We'll show that. Unless there's anyone got any questions or anything? No?
Any more questions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Senator?
We would like to.
Well, give us 5 seconds. We'll just no.
We'd like to actually do a show for Force 2 if we can possibly arrange slots to get the X-Wing and get the suits. If we can, we will do it again. I mean, I'll make it a little bit more of it's probably exciting with some pyrotechnics and so forth, just to sort of show what we did. I mean, as I said, we'll see on the video, it probably doesn't look as exciting as actually being there because you're caught up in the moment, really, when you see the sort of the suits and so forth. But so hopefully we'll be doing it maybe Force 2. But we've got other things planned for Force 2, far more exciting. Banquet. You've got to come to the banquet. The banquet's going to be the kicker. Yeah?
How many shows a day are you doing?
Really just about three shows a day.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah, 3 shows a day, and pretty much.
4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, so basically we were working for 10 minutes, and then we sort of had 3-hour break between it, where we go to watch movies or something.
One of the strangest times we had when we were doing the show was Brisbane, and we were working in Queen Street Mall, and we had like an hour between the end of one show and the start of the next show. We sort of figured, well, by the time we get into the change room, get out of the suits, get ourselves dressed again, ordinary clothes, and get outside. We're only going to have 10 minutes before we've got to come back in and start getting dressed again. So we decided to stay inside the suits. So in Brisbane, really hot, sitting in this tin shed for 4 hours, I think it was. That was fun. Who needs a sauna?
Are you about something else?
Yeah, so what did you do for the rest of the time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably
Toys R Us.
These guys actually
Donald's,
madly collect all the
Pizza.
figures. They were.
It was a race between Steve and I who got the Toys R Us first when we got to the shopping centre.
See, well, I'm not a huge collector of the figures, but I basically was the person who gave most. I didn't give all these toys out. I had this big black duffel bag, which was the stolen Imperial shipment, and we had these boxes and boxes of Hasbro figures to give away. So as I'm opening, these vultures all over me. What's in there? What's in there? What's in there?
Walking on stage, standing on Princess Leia's and...
See, part of the show, Darth Vader actually throws a piece of...
Very violently throws.
He picks up this figure that one of the stormtroopers is holding, and he just... You don't see it in the show.
I'll just demonstrate this Princess Leia over here.
Well, actually, he did it with Leia, I think, once, because he just throws it as hard as he can towards the X-Wing, and just sort of hits the X-Wing and popped over sometimes, or whatever. And he was telling me, he goes, damn it, why did you hand me a Princess Leia? Because he's in the mask, he gets the figure to throw away, and he looks up and he goes, oh no,
Time for that.
And
We've been stormtrooping. Yes.
then I was starting to give away all these figures, basically, and I was, then sort of we got to Queensland, went to this shop, Fanatic, and it was a very good shop. Anyone in Queensland, go to this shop called Fanatic. It's
Like Kitchener.
fantastic. It's really good. It's got some of the best Star Wars stuff, especially for collecting. You'd probably ever seen. It's very
If
good.
you're a collector, it's a great shop.
Yeah, and they had all the figures, so there were the prices and things. And then I was looking, and they had this Leia and a Kenobi and a few other stormtroopers there, and I'm looking at them and going, geez, I'm tossing out to kids these $60 figures or whatever, or $30 figures. So we started using them for the better prizes for more harder questions, that sort of thing. And even the posters, we were just giving them left, right, and centre. Found out people were selling them for like $50 each. Shut up, Richard. There you go for it. But anyway, anyone got any more questions before we shut this video? No? Alright. Yep.
Yeah.
Got more figures left?
No.
I'll just check.
No more figures left. But alright, well, as I said, I'll show you the video. It's got just a combination of a few different things. A bit of the tour and some of the shows that we were on, INT, that sort of stuff. But sort of give you a feel, hopefully give you a bit of a buzz and give us a sort of a feel of what it was like. It was very exciting, and we're all very, very pleased to go on this thing. And we
As Star Wars fans, we couldn't believe he still got paid for it, isn't it?
no, that's another good thing. But we were very much looking forward to the next ones, which are going to be hopefully soon. And
Hopefully.
and we've got some big plans for that.
I might say though, sorry, Rob, Justin. One of the best parts of the tours, one of the absolute best parts of the tours, was the fact that I got to travel with these guys. If you want to have a laugh, hang around with these guys for a while.
Shucks.
Right.
None of us knew each other before we left, but now we're all actually very good friends. So it was a very good experience for us all. Anyway, I'll put this video on and hope you all like it. I'll see if I can do this properly.
Lights?
It should go down. From the video, it's so dark there, it's actually a lot easier to see on small screen. But also just want to mention also that Chris actually had the honour, or as Darth Vader had the honour of opening Civic Fair. They pretty much organised this big thing where there was all the VIPs there, big VIP party, and they actually had this laser beam light. They thought there was this enormous explosion. But there's this laser light, and they actually introduced him, and then he'd come out, and they said, Darth Vader's going to open the cinema for us, and pulled out his lightsaber and actually sliced the beam, and these little pyrotechnics and stuff went off. It was quite exciting, so that was a bit of a thrill for you, wasn't it?
It was a real buzz.
Yeah, essentially that was about it. It's a little bit more, that popcorn show, they had lasers for us, which was very kind of them, because we didn't really have any of our own. But it's more effective than that because of the strobes and all. But that's essentially about it. Thanks for putting up with us and listening to us. And we hope to have another show in about July, September, and a much bigger production. As I said, it's going to be a real hoop. It's going to be a big plus for Star Wars too, because we're pretty much really involved in that one. It's going to be a really joint venture with this company that we're in. Thanks very much.
thanks a lot to the guys for coming along and sharing that with us. I never got to sort of see the show, so it was good to see how they put together, and the video presentation was excellent. Alright guys, we're going to finish a couple minutes early, but that's no big drama. We're going to have a break for a bit, and then we're going to start our auction off at 3:10, so make sure you're all